So this allows you to keep your files in the cloud and access them from anywhere. So anywhere you have internet access, you can sign into Google Drive and access your files. You can share them with anybody online, and it makes it really easy to access and collaborate through all these different systems. Google Drive also offers Google Docs, which is very similar to Microsoft Office. So everything you can do in Microsoft Office, you can do inside Google Docs. Again, using your web browser, any computer you can sign into the internet, you can access Google Docs, you can create stuff, share stuff. You have full access anywhere you go, so it makes it really convenient. There is a bit of a learning curve when you first switch over to Google Drive, especially if you're coming from Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office obviously doesn't do, it's based on your computer. So your files are stored locally on Microsoft Office. If you're using the newer Office 365, you do have cloud storage also, but by default it saves stuff to your computer locally, so you can't access it over the internet. Another thing when moving to Google Drive as your main document system is converting all your files from Google Office into Google Drive. Now, the files are compatible backwards and forwards, but there are some caveats when moving files into Google Drive. You'll see we'll get into it a little bit later, but you'll see when you upload a file, it comes in as an Office file, but when you open to edit it, it creates it as a Google Doc file. So then you end up with two copies of the same file, which can be really frustrating when you're getting started. So, but that's something we'll go over. So this screen that we're on, if you guys are logged into Google Drive, you should see this. This is the default screen when you first come in. You're going to have your most recent documents at the top, and then a full list of your file structure here. Now this is just like the files on your computer. You can organize, you can create folders, subfolders, and organize them however you like. The really powerful tool inside Google Drive is the search function. So anytime you're looking for anything, you can easily pop up here and search, and it's going to find every document that references whatever it is you're looking for. So it's really meant to be used through the search rather than trying to dig through each folder to look for your files. Google Drive has a desktop app where you can sign in to Google Drive on your computer, and it'll synchronize all the files that you have in your drive to your local computer so you can access them quicker. I generally don't recommend that unless you have a very specific need for it, just because it can get really confusing when you have files on your computer that are edited and not synchronized to Google Drive. So again, you can end up with duplicates, outdated files, and it can cause a lot of issues. So I generally don't recommend it, but if you have a specific need that you could benefit from, that option is available. So we're going to get into how to do some basic stuff in here. So, well, first, let me go back. So we're gonna explore. So here we have My Drive. So this is everything in your account. This is everything you have access to, everything you've created. Shared with me is anything that somebody else has created that has shared their folders with you. So you have access. And this is great for collaborating on documents, sharing photos, just about any kind of files that you want to share. They're always accessible. Recent is obviously your most recent files, so if you need to quickly jump back onto something you're working on, it's accessible. And I'm sure some of you are familiar with Google Photos. It allows you to upload and synchronize photos and share them. This is also a great backup option. This is probably a topic for another class, but it's a great backup option if you use an Android phone. Automatically backs up all your photos and synchronizes them to your account, so you never have to worry about losing them, or you can access them again from anywhere. So
only on an Android phone?
There is an app for iPhone too. Yeah, you can do both. But by default, Android has it built in, so they should all synchronize. And the cool, again, it's a topic for another class, but it's neat because if your phone runs out of storage, you can delete your pictures off your phone and they're still in your account. So, yeah. All right, so we're going to look at how to bring files into Google Drive. So what I was going to do is we're going to use Word. This will help show a couple points here. So we're going to create a new document. We're going to save this to the desktop.
How do you get on the internet? I mean, I have some, but it won't go to the drive because when I get on that.
You're trying to get on the online?
Yeah, I mean, my Google has got a bunch of stuff from school, but if I want to get on the internet.
My Google Drive doesn't match yours, Mag.
What's that?
My Google Drive, it says doesn't look like yours.
No?
You can close that little X right there, and then it's kind of similar. See how on the left side is my drive and that's some of that? But you've never used it, so he's got a bunch of files and stuff in there,
Okay.
and you don't have those files yet. So this is just a document that tells you how to get started inside of that. So
Okay, now.
there's your Wi-Fi. You should be able to get that. Yeah, do you have something you account to use for that? Okay.
All right, so here we're going to look at moving files into Google Drive. The upload system is extremely simple to use. Wherever you have files stored on your local computer, you can simply just drag and drop them in. And you'll see the screen turns blue as we do that, and it's saying drop files to upload them instantly to Google Drive. So as soon as you drop it there, it's already uploading to the drive. So now, when we open this, because this is a Word document that we just uploaded, you see it's stored as a doc file, because that's what it came off of Word as. But if we go down and look, we still have the document file here, but we've also got it open in Google Drive as a Google Drive document. So that's one of the things that can be frustrating when you first move over to Google Drive, is having to deal with those two different files that get synchronized in there. We generally delete the Office file once we have the files into Google Drive, because we use Google Drive almost exclusively. So once we have these files in here, we can easily share them. So anybody else that you can share with, if you're using Google Suite, which is the system made for companies and organizations, they might have different rules that apply, but generally you can share these files with anybody else that has a Gmail account or a Google account. The sharing system is very simple to use. So we can just enter anybody's name. Share this with Cassie. You can enter a note and you let them know what this document's all about. And now that document is available in their Google Drive. You also have different options for sharing. If you want to only allow them to view a document, you can say you can view it, you can comment on it, but you can't edit it. So that's another option if you're trying to share something that you don't want people to edit. If you do share with the edit option enabled, they can change the entire document. So you got to keep that in mind, that you can lose some of your work. But luckily, Google Drive does have a revision system. So if you do change something, you do delete something, you can roll back in the document to get back things that you lost or changes that you made. So we'll take a look now at some of the systems that are in Google Drive with the Google Docs. So Again, if you're used to Microsoft Office, these programs have different names in here. Google Docs is basically Microsoft Word. Google Sheets is a spreadsheet program similar to Excel. Google Slides is a PowerPoint kind of program. Google Forms is something that's unique. And we'll get into some of these other ones, but these three are the ones you're going to be using the most. The Docs, the Sheets, and the Slides. So we're going to go into Google Docs. And we're going to create another document in here. And you'll see the format and the layout is very similar to Word. Well, maybe the older versions of Word, but you have all the functions that you would need for highlighting text, making text bold, aligning text, inserting images. All these functions are here, so it makes it really easy. Some of the cool features that are built in, since this is a web-based system, is if you need a picture that you don't have, say you need to get something from Google, you can actually just search Google right in here and find pictures that are relevant to whatever you need and insert them right into your document. So it makes that a lot smoother. Instead of having to go out, find a picture, save it, upload it, you can access that right inside of here. So let's see. I'm going to generate some text here. So let's see.
Were you under shared with me, or how'd you get in?
Into the document, we're in a Google Doc. Yep. So we're going to show you the collaborative tools that are in here. So I'm going to share this with Cassie also. So there are a lot of cool things in here for teams. If you're working on a project or you're working on a paper, whatever it is, a newsletter maybe, you can have multiple people in here editing the same document at the same time. And you can see what they're working on also. So you'll see here in a second, I just shared this with Cassie. She'll get the notification. And when she gets the document open, we'll be able to see that she's in there. So we see Cassie Gamble's now in this document also. And you see now a cursor that matches the color of her little avatar up here. So Cassie, whatever she's typing and doing here, we can see it in real time while we're typing also. So you can have multiple people. There's no limit to the number of people you could have working on a document at the same time. It's really great for a lot of things. So she can be working on something, or we can have something in here. Say that we want to do something different with this paragraph. We can add a comment to this paragraph. We can say, this needs to change. So now whoever else opens up this document can come in here. They can see the comments that were made. And again, if you were in charge of editing it, you can go in and mark this comment as resolved. So you can say that it was fixed and now it works. So it's another great collaborative tool that's built into there. From here, say you were working on a newsletter and you wanted to send it out to everybody. You do have the option of sharing it as a Google Doc, but not everybody you're sharing with might not have a Google account. So there's a couple options here. We can download it as a Microsoft Office file, which a lot of people are familiar with. You can see the different formats here. So an open document, which is what the Open Office format, which is a free version of Microsoft Office, or you can export it as a PDF. And this is really what I recommend. If you were working on a newsletter or something to send out to people, a PDF, it can open on any computer. You don't have to have the right fonts or anything else. Everything's embedded in the document, so you can just send out that PDF. It makes that really convenient.
Do they need to have Adobe?
You need to have a PDF reader. Nowadays, Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, they all work as a PDF reader, so you don't have to have Adobe specifically anymore, yeah. On older computers, anything pre-Windows 7 or older, you might have to have it installed, but yeah, generally Chrome is the default PDF viewer now.
They can't edit it, can they?
No, PDF once it's out, yeah. But this document still lives here, so if you needed to make some changes, you can still come back to it, make changes, and then save it as a new PDF and send it out. So, Google, obviously, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Google's spelling assistant. They've got a great dictionary system built into this. This also has grammar notices, so if you're using the wrong word, it'll hint at little suggestions about fixing it. I believe Microsoft Word does that too now, but it's really neat. And there are some really advanced stuff. So if we do get to the advanced series of this class, we'll talk about scripts and some of the really complex things you can do here. For now, we'll move on to a spreadsheet. So this is the Google equivalent to Excel. So this, again, works. If you're already familiar with Excel and Microsoft Word, this will look very familiar to you. All the same functions that are in Excel exist here also. So you can create your cells, you can create formulas, you can also insert pictures.
How do you get the sheets?
So if we go back to Google Drive and click on New, and we can go down to a Google Sheet.
So you just is that document good enough the whole thing?
Yeah, you just close right up here this tab. Yeah, and that'll give you back to your Google Drive and you do sheet.
So I'm going to see if I can find, let me see. I'm going to try to open a different document that's got some actual data in it, because Google Drive has a really powerful graph system. Let's see. So this data might not look great on a graph because they're mostly all the same number, but we're going to just try it out. So we can take our data and turn it into a graph, just like Microsoft Word. There's a bunch of different options in here. If I can remember where it's at, over here. So we can insert a chart. They call it a chart. And you can see there's lots of different options for how you want to present your data. Again, these are common features with most spreadsheet systems, but this is just to show that Google Drive is just as powerful as tools as all of those. So there we go. Now what's really neat, if I were to go back here and open my, let's see, we'll just go ahead and open a new document. So I have this chart that's been compiled from all the data on my spreadsheet. I can just copy this and paste it right into a Google Doc, and Google recognizes that we're linking from that spreadsheet, so we can paste that in. Now if we go back and we change some data on our spreadsheet, that document automatically gets updated. So it's linking these different files with each other, which is a really great tool, really great for just about any kind of data entry you can think of. So very powerful tool. Anybody have questions on the spreadsheet system?
Now, if you already had a spreadsheet in Excel and can you dump it in?
Yeah,
and use these
you can. Yeah, definitely. So if I don't know that I have anything on this computer. Yeah, I won't have anything on here, but yeah, you can upload it the same way we did with this file. You can drag and drop. This screen turns blue. You can upload it, and then you can access it with Google Docs. Again, we run into that issue where once you upload that and then you open it in Google Drive, you've got the duplicate files. You have the Excel version, you got the Google Drive. And again, that gets really confusing for people when they're first getting used to Google Drive because you end up with multiple copies. You don't know which one you're supposed to be editing, and it can be confusing. But
Wouldn't you pick the one with the most recent time to be the
you could,
that you've been working
yeah.
on and eliminate the others?
You could, absolutely. I've gotten in the habit when I upload a sheet, and George would know this because I just sent him one this morning. When I upload a spreadsheet to Google Drive, I open it so I have the Google Drive version, and then I just delete the Excel version, so I don't even have it in there anymore. So, yep, and causing confusion too. So, try to keep everything in one ecosystem.
But if you're going to use Google Drive anyway, like going forward, it'd be just as easy just to create.
Sure.
in Google Drive.
Sure. The example with George, it's how our payroll system, when I work, which I know some of you saw, when we export our timesheets out of there, they come out as an Excel sheet. So we got to upload them and then convert them to a doc and delete them. So, but yeah, if you're creating them, I definitely stick with Google Docs all the way. And this isn't to say you have to use Google Docs and Google Drive over Microsoft Office. I just recommend you stick to one. It makes it a lot easier. So we're going to look at Google Slides. And again, this is just like PowerPoint. So they've got a lot of different tools already built in here. Let's see if we can find a template. I know they've got some in here. So yeah, they got all these designs already in here. You can add your speaker notes, just like PowerPoint. So when you're presenting, your slides separate from your notes, and they're all on one screen. Especially when you're in a situation like this, where we've got a second monitor. So right now I'm duplicating, but if we switch, I don't know if this is going to mess up our stream, but we'll try it. So now I can present the slides to an audience, and I can still read my notes and everything as needed. So it makes that really convenient. And again, this works just like the other programs. You can upload files, you can upload graphs from your spreadsheets, and they stay in sync. You can also search Google for images and pull them right in. I don't know why I always use horses as a search term when I'm doing stuff like this.
Hey, Michael, a question real quick.
Sure.
Why are we seeing so many copyrighted photos right now? Because, as you know, last week I had to put a presentation together about Greensburg.
Sure.
I was more astonished about how the copyrights have taken over.
Yeah.
Why is that? Is it a time frame, or just people just
I'm not.
copyright photos in general just out of the blue?
Yeah, I'm not sure how Google indexes them, but they definitely have a very powerful system in place for filtering out copyrighted images. So if you have pictures that you saved off of Google and you try to upload them to your file, Google may flag it as saying this is a copyrighted image. You don't have permission to share it. And like Matt said, we ran into that issue, and I don't see an immediate solution to it. Even some of the pictures he was using were his own, and they were flagging them. So that's definitely an issue on Google's end about how they're monitoring those copyrighted images. But yeah, it's something I'm going to have to keep looking into to see how they're doing that.
Is it like facial recognition software?
It could be. Google has a very powerful image search. So you can take an image and search Google using an image. So they've got a really good algorithm for for monitoring images. So it's just a matter of how they monitor the copyrights on those images that's in question. So.
It's strange, because if you loaded your own photos into the
Right.
photo place, that you get blocked.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen all the time. I know some of the ones he was using, but I've used my own photos without a problem. It's hard to say what it is that they're flagging all the time.
Well, first of all, how do you copyright a picture?
That's another great question. Actually, in Dave McCain's class, I think he said that you really can't copyright a picture. Once it's out there, it's out there. So again, I'm not sure how they're tracking that or how they're, yeah. But it is something I'm gonna do some more research on, see if we can figure out how and why they're doing that kind of stuff.
So, Mike, I have a question about. I'm thinking about we're getting ready to start work on the Twilight Gala. So, do these files have to be shared file by file, or would there be a way for me to put everything in a folder and share an entire folder?
Yeah, no, you can share an entire folder. So let me go back to Drive. And that's what we do here. We do this here and at the theater. But let me go back over to I have multiple Google accounts. So what we do is we basically have a shared folder. So this folder is shared with everybody in the company. Anybody that has an account under our KWKS Media domain, they can access any files that are in here. You can also share them with specific people, and as long as they have a Google account, they can access it. So there's a lot of power. So then there's also other things that are not company-wide that might just be between two people. So you have a lot of different options when it comes to sharing. So there's one other cool little feature in here. And this one, it might be good for some. It's the drawing tool that Google has. So this is, I don't want to try to compare it to Photoshop, but it could be very useful for a lot of things. So Google Drawings, just what it sounds like. It lets you draw pictures, do custom text. Be great for things like Facebook banners or social media posts. So we can insert different shapes and we can make them different colors. Let's see if we can rotate stuff. So we might do something like this. And we can use this as a background for a social media post and insert text.
Is there a ruler tool for this?
I believe so.
I couldn't find one this morning. I was using this program this morning to make
Got it? Great.
a picture of a building envelope for a building permit, and I've managed to do it.
Yeah.
I kind of had a guess.
Right.
Give me a ruler.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that and see if that is an option in here. But again, this is a very basic system. Great for throwing together flyers or pictures. Again, social media posts. This would probably be really popular. So, just another little feature.
Pretty close to Paint.
Yeah. Probably a step up from Paint. So, Google obviously has a very powerful mapping system. So, with Google Drive, you can actually create your own custom maps. And this is really great if you're trying to set up, well, for example, the bike tour that we have here in Greensburg. We could easily go through and set up the different locations for something like that. So we can say we're going to start here, point 1, point 2, point 3. We can name these anything we want, put the descriptions in, make them different colors, add images to the descriptions, and we can share these maps. You can post them on your website. You can make it really easy to access these kinds of custom maps. I use these a lot for websites, especially for, say, a company that's got multiple locations. We use this to mark them out, but it can be useful for a lot of things. So I wanted to share that one. All right, so one of the more powerful features in Google Drives is the form system. So this can be used for collecting data, doing surveys, anything along those lines. So the way this works is we create a form, and all the submissions come in as a Google Sheet. So whatever we call our form, we'll have a Google Sheet that, we'll have a Google Sheet with the same name that has all the data that gets collected. So here we can put in our different questions. We can choose the type of questions they are. Is it a drop down or multiple choice? Are we going to have them upload a file, something like that? And whatever we choose, all these options will be available. We can mark if it's required or not. But you can build really powerful forms with this. So you can do, like I said, surveys or even registration forms for an event, whatever it might be. This is a really powerful tool. And again, these are meant to be shared with the public. You do not have to have a Google account to access the form once it's created. You can send it out to anybody, and anybody can access it and enter data into it.
So are you going to create a test for the staff meeting on Wednesday?
We could.
Take afterwards?
We could, yeah. Let's see. So we saw the collaboration, we saw the commenting system, and those kinds of features, those carry over into all these different document types. So the comments, the multi-person editing, you can do that in any of these spreadsheets or docs or presentations, have that kind of collaboration. So that's kind of the introduction. Do you guys have questions, or are there specific features or specific topics you want to get into?
Once it's in there, you don't have to save it, auto-save.
Yeah, Google auto-saves every few seconds. It's a great feature. Even if you're working on something and your internet goes out, it's still going to save the file in the browser's cache. So that way when you do have an internet connection again, it'll upload it and make sure that it's synchronized. So if you do lose internet, you obviously won't be able to collaborate and do those kinds of things, but you'll still be able to save your work. So
Below My Drive,
mm-hmm.
on that screen, is Name. Over to the right a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Now that is for sorting
Yeah, so that just sorts the files,
by their name.
yeah, ascending or descending.
Alphabetically,
Yep,
up or down.
yep. So folders always come before files. So the folders will be at the top.
On top.
Yep, and then, yeah, just alphabetically starting with the numbered files.
And to keep things a little more controlled, it's better to have dedicated folders for things.
Absolutely.
With housekeeping from
Right.
the beginning saves searching time.
And anybody that's used Gmail knows that Google doesn't really do folders. So even though we see a folder structure here, it's more of a tag-based system. So that goes back to the topic of trying to find a file. It's so much easier to just go to the top of the bar and search for that file than it is to try to dig through there. So
And search it by typing the first few letters.
Right. So,
and the choices will drop.
yep. So again, you could search by different file types, but whatever you type in there, it's going to go and find every folder or every file in your drive related to the topic that you just searched, and they're all readily available. Any other topics? We got more time.
Maybe talk about how powerful it is as just simply a file sharing system.
Sure.
I mean, I know you talked about right away you grab your Microsoft Excel, drop it in, start using it, but I mean, how we use it for sharing photos, I use it to share larger files that you can't attach as an email.
Right.
I always ask people, well, do you use Google Drive? Well, no. Well, then that's kind of difficult, but as a file sharing system, what Google Drive can do.
Sure. Yeah, and there is a difference between the Google Docs, which is the editing programs, and Google Drive. So Google Drive is the online storage system. We kind of touched on that at the beginning, but like Grant was saying, you can use it to share large files. A lot of times email won't let you attach this file over a certain size. Instead, you can use this where you can upload a file and share that link. Again, even somebody outside of your organization, as long as they got a Gmail account, they can access that file. And like Grant was saying, it's great for just storing files too. So if you've got your documents and everything else, yeah?
Well, like last week, I was looking for a thumb drive, and I downloaded my PowerPoint, and it was a pink thumb drive from somebody, I forgot who gave it to me. And I wasn't taking pink, I was taking black. And I lost it. And right at the last minute, Mike said, well, it's on your computer.
Yeah?
So there I went all the way to Manhattan, and I didn't even use my laptop. I just used state computer or school computer, and there was my PowerPoint already.
Yeah.
So you panic, and then you realize you go, what the hell are you thinking about? So it's so this is perfect.
Yeah.
And you can share it with them so they can preview in advance. And if
Right.
they want to add to it, they can.
And they can use the commenting system to put notes in there, or you can put notes in there for them. So it's definitely very powerful that way. And this is very similar to any other cloud-based storage system. So if you're familiar with Dropbox, Microsoft has OneDrive, there's Box, there's a whole bunch of cloud services like this. Google gives you 5 gigabytes of storage absolutely free just with your Gmail account. You can upgrade that as much as you need to get as much space as you need. It's very affordable too. But yeah, it's great even just for storing documents. Even if you're not using Google Docs, if you prefer Microsoft Office and you want to edit everything there, Google Drive is still a great cloud-based storage system that is free and powerful.
What it really is, it's the real estate business. And those big black buildings that Google is putting up all over the country.
Big data centers.
It's the real estate that
Yeah.
they're paying for.
Yeah, and that real estate is just hard drive space. But yeah, that's what makes it powerful. Being able to access, like Matt was saying, access your documents from anywhere, collaborating on those documents, and knowing they're always in a safe place. So it's a really, really powerful system.
Another thought? Were you thinking about, maybe this is in the advanced class, about how to show how to make a Google Drive on your desktop?
Yeah, that would be in the next class. Yeah. And again, you can sync all of your files, and like we might go into this in the next class, but there are some caveats with that too. There are a lot of ways your files can get out of sync, but there's also other ways of using it. So you can sync specific folders that you need. So for example, at the theater, I don't sync everything that we have on the theater's Google Drive. I just sync our graphics folder. So I always have pictures and everything readily available. And now when I need to save something from Photoshop, I can drop it right into Google Drive. So yeah, so it's definitely a cool tool if you need that and you need to be able to store those files locally. Any other questions? We can get into some more topics if you guys want to.
dragging things. Searching in QuickBooks is the same. Typing in
Right.
been a learning process. Payroll went pretty smooth today. Once found 2 or 3 little things and the numbers matched in
Right.
your sheet and QuickBooks, and it was like, okay, done, run,
Right. Right.
and print. And it's really amazing. From doing payroll 30 years ago with the checkbook and the carbon on top of the checks and writing everything in hand and searching
Right. Right.
laminated sheets from the government on payroll is really amazing. I
Yeah.
don't even see how the payroll companies are going to survive.
Yeah, and that's another great example of the collaborative tools. So this morning I was able to go into the payroll system and export all that data, throw it right in Google Drive, and George had access to it to be able to do the next step of payroll. So it's a really powerful thing to be able to collaborate like that with your files. Anything else? Well, if you guys are interested, I do have another course laid out that will get into more in-depth stuff. So we'll really dive into the formulas and the spreadsheets and scripts that we can use in the forms, and getting into some more of that deeper stuff that really takes these tools to the next level. So.
Who all in here is using Google Docs now?
Yeah.
You're not at all, or do you like it? I mean,
Yeah, I just had no idea how much was available to
did you use any Google Docs when you were writing your book?
for storage.
Okay, yeah, I
But
mean,
not for
I send
editing.
it back and forth to my editor almost every day when I'm in the middle of, for in sync with time, and it works great because where she's overseas and I'm here, that 7-hour delay is, I can't believe it. You just can't wait to open that email in the morning to find out what,
Yeah.
what's going on. So, and how are you feeling about the security of them?
I don't think you can get any more secure than Google. I think if any company's got security locked down, it's
How's
Google.
their payroll system doing now?
Google's payroll system?
Aren't they the ones that were having issues with paying?
I don't know. Google and Amazon both have very powerful data storage. And I don't know, most people may not know this, but Amazon's actually one of the biggest data center companies in the country, and they offer some crazy powerful tools from, you can basically rent computing power from them like all kinds of companies. NASA uses Amazon to run algorithms and cancer research and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, but they're both very, very secure, and if anything were to get compromised at Google, I'd be very, very surprised.
Is Cyberdyne the parent company of Google?
The parent company of Google is Alphabet. So there was basically they formed Alphabet to separate all the different things Google was driving or doing. So Google started getting into all kinds of stuff. So they have a cell phone division. They've got computers that they sell. There's tablets. There's research they're doing, things like Boston Dynamics, where they're building robots. All of these used to just be part of Google, and the reason they ended up splitting it up under the company Alphabet was when one thing was in the news or doing bad, it kind of brought the stock down for all the companies. So Google would look really bad just because Boston Dynamics looked bad. So they split it up to be able to keep all that stuff separate. And so Alphabet is the parent company of Google.
So we don't have to worry until they change the name of Boston Dynamics to Cyberdyne.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Right. And I think their long-term goal with Alphabet is to have a division covering every letter of the alphabet. So, yeah.
Is it something that we could build a website in?
Yes. So, yeah, Google Drive does have the site, Google Sites built in. That is a topic we could probably do a whole class on just that, but it's definitely a powerful feature that's in there. Now, you're probably not going to be building an e-commerce site or anything extravagant with it, but it's really great, especially for something like an intranet where you need to or you need to present information to, like, say, your employees. You can put together these sites and have all that information in one place that people can access from anywhere. And again, you don't have to have a Google account to be able to actually access this. So you can publish your data there. You can share it with anybody, make it public on the internet if you want to, and have all this information there. But it's definitely a powerful tool.
Mike, if somebody sends us a read-only document and we drop it into Google, does it become editable?
It depends how it was sent. Would it be like a Word document or something?
Word read-only
Sure.
document.
So in most cases like that, if it's just read-only, that's just a flag from the operating system says, don't overwrite this data. When you upload to Google Drive, you'll get a bar at the top that actually says, editing is disabled. Do you want to enable it? So you should just be able to flick it off. It's just it's more of a safeguard against writing over data that you don't want to lose. But again,
More so than copyright.
right. So if you had something like a password-protected PDF, you would not be able to do anything with that. I don't even think Google Drive will let you upload a password-protected PDF for that reason. They want to scan everything that comes in. It's another layer of their security is they scan every file you upload.
And that's why it takes time when you drop it in.
Right.
Scanning.
Yep. And document files, spreadsheets, those are tiny little amounts of data. So those usually go pretty quick. But PDFs can get very large. They're meant to store a lot of data. Like I was saying, when you have a PDF, all the fonts that are used, all the images that are used, those are all embedded in that one file. So anybody can open it. So those can get very large. But yeah.
If my wife has a book that she's been working on for 30 years, and one of the forms is an old Word document.
Mm-hmm.
And she opened it up, was working on it, and it was read-only. And I didn't have time to try to change that. But if I took that document and dropped it into the Google Drive,
Yeah, you should be able to turn that off.
all of a sudden now I have something that could work on.
Right.
It would be out of that.
Right. And I know there's some conflicts with very old Word files before they went to the docx extensions. Some of them have issues, but yeah, I would definitely try that. Try uploading it, and if nothing else, having a copy in Google Drive is backup security. It's always going to be there. So. Anything else? All right. Well, I hope this was useful. There's a lot in these programs. That's why I kind of wanted to break it out into multiple courses. So, because we could easily sit here for 6 hours and not cover everything. So, I will plan on doing an intermediate class, like I said, get into some more of the in-depth stuff. And if there's any requests for specific things, you guys can just shoot me an email or call and let us know, and we'll make sure to get those into the course. So we'll definitely keep pushing along and trying to get this information out to you guys. So,
What is your YouTube channel?
Grant?
Kiowa County Media.
We are planning an Excel class specific to Excel and Google Sheets. I think we decided on the 2nd of October. So that'll be on a Monday again at this time. And we'll go into some of the advanced stuff with Excel and again, Sheets, formulas and formatting and all the different topics in there. So if anybody has specific things they want to learn about Excel, go ahead and let me know, and we'll get them in there. That's another topic that could go on for hours and not cover it all. So try to narrow it down to the things people want to learn. So
what level would you consider that, kind of intermediate or?
we'll probably go beginner to intermediate, just because yeah, you gotta know some of the basics to be able to do some of the more advanced stuff, but Excel is also not very powerful unless you know some of that more complex stuff. Like formulas is a something that's in pretty much every spreadsheet. You got to have formulas in there. So yeah, we'll get into a little bit of everything there.
And Sheets has the same formulas and more?
Yeah. You create the formulas, but it's got all the same capabilities as Microsoft Office does. So yeah, it's definitely powerful.
Do they change the coding like we have in
The format? No, I found it's. Yeah, I found that so far everything I've come across has been the same. Right. Yeah, the static numbers and stuff. Yeah, it's so far everything I've come across is exactly the same, and it's also really great at pulling in that data from Microsoft Office and making it usable in Google Drive. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool features in that program alone. So, and in that class, we'll do both. We'll do Word and Google.
Well, I have, when I logged into my Google account, I had some documents saved in Google document, and I don't even know how I did it. I mean, does it?
Well, I know there's some documents that come in there, like examples and introductory things, but
Well, it was stuff that I had
that you did.
in like Excel.
It's hard to say.
Maybe I did.
Yeah, you might have uploaded it somewhere. Maybe, yeah, it's hard to say, but yeah. Generally, it's you have to take that step to put it in, so it's not something that's automatic unless you created it in there. So, all right, well, I guess that's it. Well, absolutely.
And you'll send that out like you had?
Yeah, we'll send it out an email. We got everybody registered, and again, if there's any topics on anything that you guys want to learn, we're happy to keep doing these classes and cover any topics related to anything that we can cover. So please give us feedback and let us know what you want. We'll keep doing them.
So are you the one that's sending out the emails?
Cassie usually does that. Yeah.
We need one on how to keep your cool when you're trying to figure something out on your computer.
Or your cell phone.
Or yourself.
Yeah, right.
Stress ball so far.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely.